Okay. My room is a little dirty. Don't mind it. I'm not used to this camera at all. Let's see if there's a better place for me to put it. There's really not. It's just that works. So I keep looking up. So I feel the need to put it up there before I start. But I don't know. Will it reach? It should reach. I really probably should have thought about this before I started anything. Damn it, DJ, why'd you put it at the bottom? What do we got going on here? That just looks straight down. It's so stupid. Okay, so there's no good place to put this damn thing. Like, at all. It's gonna be what it is. So, until I get a better setup, I'm just gonna have to deal with it, I guess. Kinda sucks. Y'all are directly in front of my coffee. I apologize. So, I wanted to talk about. So, when I say free walking, I mean the dog's not in a heel. The dog is allowed to just walk, has the whole leash to do its thing. I personally, I do it myself, but I have a problem with other people doing it. And I wanted to talk more about the problem with free walking, but also the problem with heel. I don't have much of a problem with people walking their dogs in a heel. The main issue I see with walking in a heel is that you're not providing, I think, enough freedom on a walk for sniffs. I think a lot of people are very strict in how they make their dog do a heel. There's nothing wrong with a heel. My dog is trained loosely in a heel. It's mostly for control purposes. If we get into a situation where I need him to be polite and be at my side, let's say it's a crowded street, like the Father's Day car show. I took him to it. He was in a heel the whole time because he didn't need to sniff around, because sniffing around would imply sniffing people and invading people's space. And when you're in a crowded street with a lot of cars and a lot of people, that is not necessarily an environment that you need to let your dog be all over the place, sniffing and doing its thing. Now, on my morning walks, sure, he's allowed to just go and sniff and do his thing, but there are times where I see another dog or whatever, or another person, and I move him closer to me, put him in a heel, and no matter how excited he gets to see this person or this dog or whatever, he's in a heel. He knows he needs to stay there, and that's that. But I think a lot of people, they go for walks, and it's just heel, 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 heel the whole time. And on a structured walk, there's nothing wrong with that. But on your average walk with your dog, I think your dog should have, free time to explore and do what they want to do and get their sniffs out. Because that's a part of mental stimulation. Like, mentally, you want your dog to be able to stimulate themselves and, explore the world and do their own thing. Do I think everyone should just let their dog free walk all the time? No. Half the time, people let their dog do a free walk, and their dog does not know how to free walk. Their dog does not know how to mind its manners. It doesn't know how to not walk in the damn street. Or the person just lets their dog free walk and do whatever it wants, and as a result, they don't control their dog when they're approaching other people, other dogs, children, animals, cars. So there's a lot wrong with free walking if you don't do it right. And I think the vast majority of people do not do it right at all. The vast majority of people are not paying attention to their dog whatsoever, and they don't care. And that's the problem with dog ownership. People don't care. If you don't care and your dog does whatever it wants all the time, then your dog is going to get itself into a lot of trouble. Now, free walking does not mean pulling. Your dog should not be pulling you. When I free walk with my dog Jackson, there might be slight tension here and there, but I wouldn't consider it at a level to be pulling. He sometimes pulls. I correct that. Unless he's pulling towards a raccoon. I'm still trying to keep him motivated to go after raccoons. I do want to try to go hunting with him for a couple more seasons before he decides it's time to retire. He still wants to work, so I'm letting him do that. And we found a couple, but I know the difference between that pulling and him wanting to pull for the sake of, I want to go, 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 go. And he's allowed to go, but not while he's on the leash. We don't do that. We do that when he's off leash. If he's off leash, he can run and be free all he wants until I say it's time to bring it back, and he needs to reel that shit in and come over to me and put the leash on. When in that case, it's time to go. I think a lot of people want to give their dog the world, but they don't know how. A dog with freedom is happy, but a dog with unstructured freedom is a disaster waiting to happen. It's gonna get hit by a car. It's gonna knock someone over. It's gonna bite somebody. It's gonna eat something that makes it sick, or, Lord have it, the dog is going to chew all the furniture in the house because you have provided no mental stimulation, no training, no structure. And that does come down to leash manners. I think every dog should learn how to walk in a heel. I think every dog should learn how to free walk. Do I think you should have your dog in a heel 24/7? No. Do I think anyone should just have their dog free walking? No. But I mean, I don't really know where else to take this live, because it was mostly just about that, and I pretty much got all that out of the way because there's nothing really to say on the matter. If you have a dog, it needs to learn basic obedience. It needs to learn how to walk on a leash, whether it's in a heel or free walk. And I personally think dogs should learn both. Both should learn loose leash walking, whether it's on heel or not in heel. It's just I think all dogs should learn to heel off leash. I think all dogs should learn to walk off leash. Jackson will never be 100% capable of doing this. That is when I put this here, it is just massive. It's just on my desk. It's not my desk. It's partner's desk, but. And yes, I drink with a straw. I drink all my coffee with straws. I don't need to. I do. Anyways. like, I don't really know what else to say on the matter. I wish I had someone come in and help me talk about this. Like, I need people to come on my lives with me so that we can get this conversation going a lot better. Because when it's just me talking to you guys at the screen, like, there's only so much I can say. And I also wish I had a better spot for the camera, because I keep wanting to look up. The camera's right there. You're right here. Down. Right there. So you guys are there. I'm looking here. Yeah. I'm gonna lock my door so I don't get disturbed. Come here. Yes. We're doing this. Okay. I have the sugar cookies. We're gonna take a break. We're talking. We're gonna get sugar cookies. This is gonna be sugar cookies because you are. Oh my goodness, sugar cookies. Oh, it's the sugar cookies. Oh, it's the sugars. Mm-hmm. Hey, pretty. Where you going? She's leaving. Where you going? There's no one even on this live right now, so I'm just gonna chill. Really just, like I said, there's nothing to really talk about. Yeah, there's like, now, one thing I do wish I could do is overlay. Oh, there's a share screen option. Yeah, I don't want to do that right now. There's an edit option. I'm gonna edit this. Yeah, it's still going. Okay. There we go. So it's obedience discussion. Okay. Okay, there's one person watching. Hello. Yeah, I'm having to edit this. Because it, like, I was mostly just talking about loose leaf walking and free walking versus a heel, but you can't really talk about that without talking about obedience. And I ran out of shit to talk about as far as the walking goes. Oh, shit. Goddamn chair. It's so old. So, and they left. Okay, it's fine. As far as loose leash walking goes, you can't really get that without doing work with your dog as far as like bonding and obedience work goes, getting focus, making you the primary focus of literally everything. Your dog is going to be more interested in other stuff, but at the same time, you need to be able to be the thing that breaks that focus and brings it back to you. Like, are you stronger? Are you more of an interest to your dog than something else? And if not, are you capable of getting your dog's attention back on you? And I don't mean through treats. I'm tired of seeing people be like, oh, well, you just use treats, just positive only. No, you can't do positive only with some things. Like with my dog, a raccoon is life. Hunting is everything. Finding his prey, tracking it down, and treeing it is the reward. The praise at the end is also amazing. So to recall him off a scent takes a lot. Like, I mean a lot. Do you know how hard it is to off leash train a hound? It is the hardest thing I've ever done with it. I've had shepherds, I've had pit bulls, I've had bully mixes, I've had mastiff mixes. I would say the hardest one was Jackson, being a foxhound, an American foxhound. His nose is always on the ground. He's always looking. So to train him to come back and to keep his attention on a walk is so hard. It's so hard. And we're still working through some things, but there's other shit that he'll just never. I'm never gonna make him 100% at, and that's fine. Like, certain times when he pulls on the leash, he's gonna pull sometimes. He's gonna catch a scent, and I've got to be able to work him through that and get him back to ground with me. And that's just a thing with the breed. You're gonna have times where your particular breed of dog, especially if they were trained to smell out scent without a command, like he was just taught to find raccoons. Like that was it. There was no, oh well, you just train him off it. You can't. He was scent broke. There's no real way to unscent break a dog and make that thing that he is used to trailing on purpose to not be an instinct that he holds anymore. Like, he's going to do it. It's gonna happen. Now, how do I work around this? How do I make us a good team as far as him randomly finding a smell goes while on leash? Well, first of all, we did a lot of focus training. We did a lot of reinforcing his name. When I call you, or I say when I call you or I say your name to get your attention, you look at me, I pay you. And then I wean him off of being paid. He doesn't expect payment. He doesn't assume he's going to get paid. He is waiting for the possibility of, well, I looked at mom, I'm going to get praised. And if I don't, she's going to just keep trying to get my attention. She's going to tighten the leash. She's going to pull back. She's going to turn around and walk the opposite direction that I want to go. If I don't look at her, mom is going to take away something, which is she's going to take away the ability of me going where I want to go. Or she's going to pop the leash. Or she's going to touch my side. Or she's going to whistle. Or something that reinforces, like, hey, I should look at mom. Mom's talking to me. I should look at her. I should see what she wants. And so there's randomly at times when we're on walks, I will, Jackson, and he'll look at me, and I'll go, oh, good boy, and he'll get pets, or he'll get a treat, or whatever. I mean, there's no toy that he likes, so I can't exactly reinforce it with a toy. Like, he doesn't play tug. He doesn't play with tennis balls. He doesn't play with squeaky toys. He plays with his Kong, but again, that's food for reinforcement. Bones, like he likes bones. but I'm not carrying a bone on a walk, especially one that he's chewed, because those things are very sharp. But I don't see a point in positive only when it comes to reinforcing certain behaviors, especially with heel and loose leash or free walking. There's not much of a point in it for me. I do use prong collars. I do use e-collars. I use whatever tool is best for the dog and what they need. If they're a heavy puller, I'm probably not going to use a head halter. If they're a heavy puller, I'm probably not going to use a front clipping harness or a harness at all. There's no point. If the dog is a heavy puller, I am likely to do a prong collar. I'm probably not going to do a choke or a martingale. So, that being said, a prong collar is normally my best solution. Or slip, but I'm not going to use something that's going to hurt the dog. I'm going to use something that is going to make it easier to get through to the dog without having to use a lot of pressure. And if a dog is pulling a lot, a head halter is likely going to hurt the dog. If the dog is pulling a lot, it's not going to care that it's got a clip in the front of its chest. It's going to get turned around. It's going to likely start pulling again. It's just like the longest route to stop pulling, and you will likely never stop it that way. Not 100%. Especially if you plan on using a collar like ever again in the future. You will never stop pulling with a harness. You will never. Unless you have an easy dog. If you have an easy dog, you use the tool that helps you the most. Some people don't need prong collars for their dog because they have an easy dog. Some people need a prong collar for their dog because their dog listens to nothing unless you add some pressure, unless you add punishment or consequences to their actions. You have to meet them with similar pressure that they're giving you. So Jackson, he pulls. When I got him, it was like I was being pulled all the way down the road. Like my arm was going to come out of its socket. Like the leashes that I used, just my regular leash, them things hurt my hands so bad. I still have calluses on my hands from walking him when I first got him because he hurt my hands so bad. I got a prong collar. We did indoor conditioning. And then we started doing outside structured walks only. If he pulled, I put pressure. We turned around. We walked the other way. I told him, heel. And then I turned back around. I again stated heel. If he maintained the heel for a few seconds, I praised him. I paid him. Pressure never stayed on unless the pulling continued. If I needed to, he got a pop. But pops are light. It's the difference between hitting and doing this. Just this. This doesn't hurt anybody. This hurts people. It's like that's the easiest way I can describe proper use of a prong collar. It's a jab. It's a poke. These don't hurt at all. You're not going to leave a bruise by going, eh. You are going to leave a bruise if you decide to wail into something. You're going to hurt somebody by trying to wail into them. That is the easiest way I can describe a prong collar. Too many people do this, and they don't do this. Too many people do this, and they don't do this. Sustained pressure, 2 fingers. Sustained pressure, 2 fingers. 2 fingers. Not why are you doing to your dog? Like, why are you doing that? It's the same thing with like a freaking flat collar. I see too many people going like, you will listen to me, and pulling their dog. Like, no, guys, that's not how you train obedience. That's not how you train on a leash. You don't do it that way. Ever. People do that with harnesses, and they try to claim, oh, it's force-free because I'm not hurting the dog. Like, motherfucker, you were literally yanking on this dog's chest. You are yanking and putting constant pressure on the leash and pulling on that poor dog's chest. And there are some people that I see slapping this, like, popping this leash so hard, like, they gotta be doing some sort of impact damage to that dog's chest. Like, there's no way you are not slapping that leash so hard and pulling that much that you aren't leaving some sort of strain or damage to the muscles at the very least, with how much that dog is having to endure as far as like impact to the chest area from you just on that fucking leash all day trying to get that dog to listen. Or I mean, shoot, I can only imagine the damage it could do to the under, like where the ribs are under here, just by, I know, move, wait, oh, goal complete, yay, I got my movements. But I think any tool can be abused. I think the best thing for training is to not focus on being force-free, because I'm sorry, everything has some level of pressure to it. There's always going to be some level of pressure. You're always going to be asking your dog to do something that they may or may not want to do. And that is like the definition of pressure, whether it's physical or non-physical pressure. You're adding pressure to your dog to make them do something that you want them to do, or to make them stop doing something that you don't want them to do. And I think that's the main thing wrong with obedience training. Too many people, like I said, too many people are focused on the, oh, my poor dog. And they don't realize that by babying their dog, they are enabling the behavior to become worse. I don't think you should be using a prong collar and yanking on the dog's neck. I don't think you should be using a flat collar and yanking on the dog's neck. I don't think you should be using a head halter if your dog pulls like a freight train and decides to pull right through the head collar. If you are allowing your dog to pull right through a head collar, you've not used that tool properly. You are improperly using that tool, and you're going to cause injury. Same thing with harnesses. You're letting your dog do stuff in the harness, and then you're yanking on the dog, getting mad at the dog, getting upset that the dog's still pulling despite using a harness. But then you've got all these people out here like, oh, well, the harness, you're just using it wrong. No, you're using it on a breed that it's not going to work with. You're using it on a dog who is strong-willed enough that they will pull through and force through whatever pain you are causing to them. And you think you're not causing pain because you're using a tool that is supposed to not cause pain. I'm sorry, have you ever had a harness strapped to your chest and then had someone mimic, like, just put a harness on yourself, put a dog harness on yourself, clip it to the front, and then try to pull through it. Just do what your dog does and pull, and pull, and pull, and pull. And then that person behind you is going to yank and pull and pull and push back and pull, whip you around and pull. And you're going to keep trying to pull through that. And you tell me if you don't feel some sort of pinching or tightening or pressure from the constant basically tug of war that you're having with the harness that you have on and the asshole on the end of the leash pulling you back. Like, I wear my weighted vest, and that shit hurts after a while. Like, prolonged period of time, 20 pounds of pressure just on my shoulders and on my chest and on my back, and I'm already wiped. Like, more than 20 minutes of just that pressure and you start to feel some sort of pain. And if you're not, now the more you do it, the less you notice because you get stronger from it. So imagine you being that 20 pounds and your dog is just getting used to pulling that. Like, you're weight training your dog. You're allowing them to learn to pull through that. You, like I said, you can train with a harness. You can. But not on certain dogs. It's just not, it's not a thing. It's really not. I highly discourage using a harness if you realize after a couple weeks your dog is still pulling to the extent that you feel like they're going to hurt themselves. If you want your dog to pull, just go take them and do a sport that allows them to do this. Don't put them in a harness and expect it to be fine and dandy. You have to actually put in some work, first of all. And second of all, the harness might not be the best choice. But right back around to the obedience issue, I think a lot of people... Hello? And I think a lot of people, they get a dog and they think, oh, well, I can't tell it no. You can. You should. Very frequently, you should tell your dog no, because your dog is going to test boundaries. Your dog is going to see where you draw the line, and if you don't draw that line, you'll be like, oh, I can do this? Oh, cool, I'm just gonna freaking do this, because this is fun. This is great. I'm just gonna keep doing this. And then when you do finally put your foot down about it later on, your dog is like, wait, what? No, I'm going to keep doing it because you've told me this whole time for the last 6 months to 2 years that I am allowed to just do this. And now you're telling me I can't do this? You're crazy. This stuff's fun. So they're going to keep doing it. And it's going to be harder to break the habit, which is why it's so much harder to break habit of pulling if the dog has not been taught early. You can avoid using most training tools if you start young and you put that structure in with them young. Some dogs might still need it, but I've had several dogs where them learning to walk early and learning the rules early prevented them from breaking those rules to the extent of creating a new bad habit that was harder to break in the future. Yes, your dog should learn to sit. Yes, your dog should learn to leave it. Yes, your dog should learn stay, recall, down. And honestly, I'm going to add another one, and a lot of people might not know this, paw. Yes, your dog should learn to give you paw. Because when you're doing nails, what do you need? Paw. You need their feet if you're doing their nails. Or when you're bathing them. And, it's a useful command to have for your dog. I don't really know what else to say on the matter. I think a lot of people are going to see this video and they're going to be like, oh, well, she's just a dog abuser and blah, blah, blah. She supports dog abuse. No, I support properly training an animal and properly using a tool that will get the job done with as minimal pressure and risk of injury as possible. And if that means properly using a prong collar and properly conditioning the dog to a prong collar so that they can walk safely without injuring themselves because they pull so much and put so much pressure on their neck or chest area, then that is what I will use. I don't think your dog should be in a harness if it can't walk. I don't think your dog should be free walking if it doesn't know how to walk. And I do believe you should let your dog have some freedom. The more trained a dog is, the more freedom they can have. And that is That is my overall consensus on the matter. Like, if you can walk your dog down the street in a heel and it not do nothing and not bother anybody, more power to you. And I believe that that is a dog that can do that is in its happiest. No one's really come on the stream, and that's fine. This is my first time using this camera. Next time I use this camera, I'm hoping I have a better setup. That way I can look up. Because naturally I want to look up instead of here. But maybe I can Jimmy rig something that, works better. Other than that, that's really it for this video. I'm gonna hop off here and see if I can't do a video on a different channel. But yeah, bye. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you like these videos. Turn on notifications so that you're notified of our future videos.